fresh curry leaves, freshly grated coconut and 100 different spices. Welcome to the fresh intensity of Sri Lankan food, the original spice island full of so many delicious surprises. Join our food safari to learn how the queen of Asian cooking in Australia makes a feast from her homeland. A colourful vegetable curry, delicious, and an expert rundown on sambols and side dishes. Plus the fragrant delights of a traditional dessert.
Sri Lankan food is excitement, really. It's about many different flavours, from hot and sour to pepper to chilli to curry. There's incredible colours. The greens, the yellows, using your turmerics and your saffrons, and then the dark browns and the roasted curries, and it's endless. I think most of it has been this combination of Muslim, Tamil and Sinhalese, and that has combined to make Sri Lankan food what it is today. Green.
Peter Kuravita spends most of his waking hours working in and for flying fish, even doing all his produce shopping before Lankan food stemmed from his formidable grandmother, who presided over every meal the extended family enjoyed in their big compound in Colombo. Peter, if I'm starting a Sri Lankan pantry, what do I need?
You need to come to a place like this where you can find all the different spices. The important ones are cumin seed and powder, coriander seed and powder. Fenugreek.
Fenugreek seeds are essential for Sri Lankan curry.
It's cloves, cardamoms, definitely, cinnamon especially, black peppercorns, chili powders, probably about between 13 and 25 different in your pantry. And the idea is that you have them fresh. So buy small amounts. Once you've opened them, I think I wouldn't have them more than four to 6 weeks. And I bet most people have spices in their cupboards older than their children, for sure. You need to have your base flavourings, pandan and curry leaves. They go with pretty much everything. Normally they're used when you're making a curry, you throw them into the hot oil, if it crackles and pops.
That is the smell of Sri Lanka, isn't it?
It sure is. Gorica is a really important and unusual and very uniquely Sri Lankan souring agent. It's like a...
Unusual.
It's like a... and goes black. You soak it in hot water. You want only a slight amount of sour flavour. You just put 1 or 2 pieces into your curry and let it sit. It's great for fish curries. That's where it's really used.
Is there a lot of oil used in Sri Lankan cooking?
Definitely. A lot of oil.
A lot of oil.
Yeah, and I think a lot of bad oils, which taste very good. I think number one is this beast.
That would taste good.
It tastes fantastic. Everything tastes a lot richer and fattier, I guess.
Yeah.
And the flavour that it gives, especially when you're cooking sweets, they use it a lot. You know, and I think the Sri Lankans toss up the flavour compared to the health and always go for the flavour. I use it sparingly.
Tell me about the esteem in which coconuts are held.
Well, it's a very important part of life. Everything from building your house to making brooms to spoons. But, you know, the essential part is the actual meat and flesh itself.
So if you're not going to grind your own coconut, what's the next best thing?
I think Maggi, it's a Sri Lankan Maggi coconut powder, yeah. This for home is fantastic. I feel it gives the best flavour, and that's what it's all about. We're talking about flavour and how things are going to taste authentic, and this will help you get there. It still has a creaminess, but it doesn't have any additives, and it hasn't been pasteurised, so it doesn't have that tinny flavour either. Little samba rice. Now, samba rice, my mum used to call chicken teeth because they're so tiny.
Tiny, aren't they?
And it's a pungent is probably a good word for it. Other people say it stinks, and it's one of the most regularly eaten rices. When you do cook it, it's best to put it into it, and it reduces all your house. It's like durian. You know, once you get it past your nose, it tastes damn good. And the last one, the most simple all the time, is the Maldive fish. Okay, and this is used in so many things, in curries, in sambol preparations. When we first arrived into Australia, we got to customs. Big 6-foot red-headed guy gets a tin of this Maldive fish and sniffs it. Oh, Jesus. Just gave it to us. Go. It's like, yeah, welcome to Australia.
Oh, good. Sri Lankans talk about eating curry and rice, but you'd never have a meal without the accompaniments. One of them is sambol, which always has onion and chilli, and they say you really need that kick for your taste buds.
These are basically peasant cuisines that were heavily based around the starch component with a little bit of something else. And if all you had was rice and you couldn't afford meat and the veggies, well, even having a bit of chutney would make the rice go down easy. And that's why the sambols are kind of developed as well, yeah? Convenient ways of making rice taste good.
Paul van Rijk was born in Colombo, descended from Dutch colonists who had a significant role in Sri Lanka, or Ceylon as it was then known. As well as running a Sri Lankan catering business, he writes restaurant reviews, leads tours to his homeland and turns on a Sri Lankan banquet once a month at his local bowling club.
Whoa! Across the middle. And as you can see, mate, so now we've got to scrape it, yeah? And then you turn this handle and coconut goes everywhere. You can't do Paul sambol with anything but fresh coconut, okay? So, just take probably about that much. So some chili. You like your stuff pretty hot, don't you?
Reasonably,
Good
but
on
I
you.
don't think I'm up in your sort of fiery stages.
Yeah. Bit of salt. Molded fish. It's a bonito that's been spiced and then dried and then smoked. Now, I'm going to grind this fairly fine. Can you put a healthy pinch of that in? I'm going to add the onions.
So that's fine echalot.
That's the fine echalot again. And look at that colour. You know it's going to be good when the colour goes from like just pale orange, startling, sunsetty, tequila sunrise type orange.
Yeah. It looks so fresh.
And that's it. That's your sambol.
It looks fantastic. Okay, so you put it on your palm and then you go...
Yeah. What do you reckon? Tangy.
Oh, getting hot.
Hot.
Nice fresh coconut.
Yeah.
My taste buds are as alive as any Sri Lankan. Another favourite is called melon, which uses any leafy green vegetable. In oil, black mustard seeds, curry leaves, turmeric and salt are cooked, then the chopped vegetable added. Green chilli, fresh coconut, and a minute later, it's ready. That doesn't... It sure does. Coconut.
Yep.
I could eat a lot of that.
Yeah?
That's really nice.
It is nice, eh?
It is really, really nice. While Sri Lankans are not generally vegetarian, vegetables play a huge part in the cuisine. Most meals have a couple of different veggie curries as well as accompaniments. And some of the veggies are entirely unknown outside Sri Lanka. Drumsticks are a vegetable loved for their slightly bitter flavour, cooked here in what's called a white curry and served as an accompaniment. Other vegetables, better known pumpkin.
The colour has to be very dark, and also we cook with the skin.
Chef Sunil Ranasinghe trained in 5-star hotels in Sri Lanka, then worked around the world before coming to Australia to open 2 successful restaurants and most recently a spice store.
Today I'm using clay pot as a special thing. 2 tablespoons vegetable oil. You don't cook without curry leaves. No curry leaves, no Sri Lankan cooking. And then 2 green chilies only, and 3 whole garlic sliced. I prefer to cook with red onion. It has more flavor for me, and also get a nice color. Fenugreek, you have the mustard seeds, half a teaspoon. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the rest of the pumpkin, and this is 1 teaspoon ground mustard, just 1 teaspoon turmeric, 2 tablespoons of Sri Lankan roasted curry powder. And 1 teaspoon chili powder. Once mix it nice. Then goes, and then the coconut milk. There's 2 cups of coconut milk. And mix it nicely.
Is that all you do now? That's it?
That's it.
So you keep it on a high heat?
High heat. Otherwise, get like soft.
Sunil dry toast short grain rice and desiccated coconut until they're brown and fragrant. Then he blends them to a delicious toasty powder, which he adds in the final minutes of cooking to thicken and flavour the curry.
Vattaka kalupo. Pumpkin with roasted coconut and rice grain.
One of the great is the bowl-shaped pancake called a hopper, made from rice flour, yeast and coconut milk. They're crispy on the bottom and perfect for scooping up curries. Another variation on the hopper is the string hopper, light, fluffy and usually made by an expert like Tony Puris and purchased by families for festive lunches or dinners. These are also used to scoop up curries. A devotee of the string hopper is Charmaine Solomon, a legend in the Australian food scene. She's written a staggering 31 books and for many was the first introduction to authentic Asian recipes. She has a large range of spice pastes and ingredients and was recently awarded the Order of the Contribution to Food. Growing in her garden, there's kaffir lime, cardamom and of course a curry leaf tree, like her family grew in Sri Lanka. One of her recipes, published decades ago for chicken curry, is still a family favourite.
What is really important about this meal is the string hoppers, which I'm going to serve with the curry. I'm very fond of them.
Beautiful.
I'm just going to quarter these and put them into the food processor. I don't want to make it too fine because you need chopped onions, not pureed onions. See, no tears. Ghee is lovely for the flavour, but again, being a bit health conscious, I mix ghee and olive oil. What I'm going to put in first is fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek seeds are actually rather bitter, but they do thicken a curry, and I'll cook the onions in that. So you fry the onions until they're sort of transparent. So I'm going to put the garlic in here now. The ginger, finely grated. I like to put the curry leaves in at a fairly early stage, and I put them in a little stem because even the stem has flavour. I'll put the coriander in now. Then the cumin. And then the fennel. I like things to be hot, but not so that you can't taste anything else.
No fire brigade needed?
No fire brigade. So I've got the chili there, but I add paprika. And turmeric, another basic spice.
That's a lovely spice mix there now.
Yeah, it's starting to smell really good, isn't it? A couple of tablespoons of vinegar. So I'm going to put the tomatoes in now. Now I'm going to add the lemongrass and a stick of cinnamon, pandan leaf. It goes into almost every little cardamom pods, which I've just gently bruised. And I've got to put in the salt because in hot climates like that, you perspire a lot, so you have to keep replacing the salt that you lose. And now we'll add the chicken. They're chicken cutlets, thigh cutlets, like a lamb chop or anything. It does taste better on the bone.
And so you need to put the...
And I'll turn the heat down a bit, put the cover on, and so much liquid will come out of the chicken that you don't really need to add any water at this stage or any stage. Let it cook for an hour. I just put it on, set the timer for an hour, and I go and do something else.
That's great.
Now the chicken should be tender because it's had 40 minutes simmering. And I shall now add the coconut milk because I can't cover it once it's had the coconut milk added. And it's just about ready to...
This is the Sri Lankan feast, Charmaine Solomon style?
It is indeed. Here's a nice chicken cutlet for you.
Beautiful.
And one for me.
Look at that sauce.
And when you have string hoppers, you serve it with a coconut sambol and a vegetable curry. They call this kiri hodi, which really means milk soup. Another important side dish is scrambled eggs.
Wow.
Ogrulang. You just make sure you...
That's pretty easy. How's your curry taste?
Beautiful.
Good. It certainly is.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes.
What else can I
I'm
say?
very pleased with it too.
No Sri Lankan feast is complete without seafood. Peter Kuravita's prawn curry with fresh coconut and sambal rice is one of his signature dishes, yet one easy enough to cook at home. Go for the coconut oil to start, are you?
I will. As I said, this is purely optional. We want to get it quite warm to smoking point. Traditionally, you start with your curry leaves, onions and garlic in, the prawn in, fenugreek. So this is the beginning of your addition process. You've got some cardamoms, 3 or 4, some cumin powder. In this recipe, the coriander is the predominant one, so it's double the amount. A cinnamon stick adds a beautiful aroma, and you can see that now it's coating the prawns. Fish curry powder, which is a blend, and I use that as well in there, and it gives that just that. Chili powder, plenty of it, about a teaspoon there. Now I'm going to sour it a little bit with 1 piece of gorica. Turmeric, pandan, green chilli, finally finishing it off with the coconut cream. So it's salt. Now we're going to cook this, let all the flavours get into it.
How long does that cook for?
That's the most. And there's a special technique where you have to crush the heads and use that as the flavouring. Like, I guess it's like fish stock of modern days, but that's where the real flavour comes from, or a bisque, French style. It's noisy and it goes for a little while, so... Okay, that's it. And then you can just force it through.
Well, that looks delicious, Peter.
Okay. That's it. And now that gets added to the coconut cream. So now we have our prawn mixture. I'm going to put it in. And this will actually act as a thickening agent as well. And I don't really want to cook this too much.
You don't let it boil, do you?
No. And then we're nearly there.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. If you put them together like this, when they cook, they'll actually glue together like that, and you'll be able to serve it very easily.
Oh, wow.
So again,
That's very clever. I've never made a curry like this.
so we get all of that out and we end up with pure flavour.
That is very beautiful. Lovely velvety looking sauce.
Yes. Just going to heat it through so that the prawns are al dente, and then we'll serve it.
Al dente?
Al dente prawns. That's Sri Lankan for cooked perfectly. And a lid. That's it. Just a little bit of lemon juice, Maeve, so that we... So now to build this, we need a little bit of sambol.
what's that? Coconut?
This is coconut and kangkung.
Look at that.
Again. And then we put a little bit of coriander on top. Now, it's always good to serve it with some pickles and wonderfully pungent rice.
They're beautiful. Sri Lankans are renowned for their sweets, including a spiced custard called watalapan. It's originally Malaysian, but made across Sri Lanka. Deborah Solomon makes it as the perfect finish to any Asian meal. In general, Sri Lankan desserts,
Well,
how would you describe them?
a bit over the top, actually, maybe, if you want the truth. You have to be very fond of sugar. I think they're sweet almost to extreme. I think you have to have a truly a love for the sweet. The dark palm sugar, I'm just going to empty it into some water and let that dissolve and form a syrup. So and strain it. Dip those in. This is the mace. I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of mace into the coconut milk and 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. A little bit of the rose water, just about a tablespoon. And do check and make sure it isn't rose essence before you use it. And just fork that through. That goes into the syrup. Four eggs into a bowl and just lightly beat them.
So how long do those take now?
Those will take 1 hour and a quarter, Maeve, at 160. Just a little bit of palm sugar syrup, and I think it looks good and enhances that lovely flavour.
Oh, it's nice and dense and silky and... I love those spices. Very nice.
Tastes good to me.
Gee, there's only one left. On our next food safari, the amazing variety, colour and sheer deliciousness of Brazilian food. Well worth discovering. Beautiful flavours right throughout. Absolutely lovely. And what a great way to eat it.
Yeah. Who was it? Some Persian emperor who said, eating with a knife and fork is like making love through an interpreter.
Well, Charmaine.